I have made $140,000 sports betting this year, and it's not even football season yet. Now, I'm not gonna act like this was easy. It was a lot of hard work, but I decided to make this video breaking down which books I've been most successful on, what types of sports and leagues I've been most successful on, and I really hope this is helpful, giving you a detailed look into every bet I've placed so far in 2023. Let's get into it. The new NFL season is just starting, but keep in mind, January, February of last year, we had the NFL playoffs going on. So I'm actually already up $14,000 so far in 2023 betting on the NFL. I actually was down approximately 8 grand, as you can see on my bet tracker, but I had a really good playoff run, including $10,000 on the Chiefs money line. So I ended up about $14,000 at the end of the season, and really looking forward to betting on the NFL. But one thing about the NFL that not a lot of people think about is there's a limited amount of games. There's basically only games one day a week. So I love betting on the NFL. There's a lot of different prop markets to take advantage of, but you have less games available than, let's say, the NBA or the MLB. And that's why the NFL has never been my most profitable sport over the course of a year compared to the NBA or college basketball. MLB was pretty horrible. You can see I started out on a massive losing streak. Went down like 12K, but miraculously have bounced back for a slight net profit. NBA is my best sport in 2023. I'm up like $42,000. And the reason I always encourage new sports bettors, if you only want to focus on one sport, start with the NBA, is because of line movement. If you think about a baseball game, even if a star player like Aaron Judge or Ohtani end up sitting out, it really doesn't affect the odds much. Whereas in the NBA, each player is so impactful. If LeBron ends up sitting out, that massively moves the market. Sportsbooks are in disarray. They have to move around lines, and sometimes they screw up. And that means opportunity for us as sharp, profitable bettors. So the positive EV tool is one of the main tools I use. It just points out value, discrepancies in the market, and it is the best for NBA season because as players get injured, as they sit out for specific games, there are massive line movements, and that spells opportunity for us as sharp bettors who are following the lines looking for our spots. Next, we got college basketball. I'm up like 20K. You can see it's been flat because there hasn't been any college basketball, but I was betting a lot during March Madness. One of my biggest bets won $4,000 on Tennessee money line at plus 160. But that's about it. $20,000 college basketball, a lot of line movements, a lot of opportunity. Another great sport to bet on, largely for the same reasons we said for the NBA. NHL, you can see there were definitely some swings, up about 8K. Don't have much to add. There's not a ton of bets for the NHL compared to the NBA, but hey, 8K is 8K. The more sports you bet on, the more profitable betting opportunities you have access to. So I encourage everyone to bet on as many sports as possible. NHL probably won't be your most profitable sport, but there's some profitable bets in it, so you should bet on it. Tennis, I'm down 7K. Obviously not that great, but I've only placed like 50 bets total, so that's a small sample size. I'm not reading too much into it. I'm also down betting on the UFC, as you can see right here. One thing to mention, this bet tracker I keep showing photos of, it's a verified third-party bet tracker. It's called Pikkit. Even if I wanted to make this up, I couldn't make it up. Pikkit syncs with the Sportsbook, shows you your profit and loss by book, by league. This isn't a sponsored post for Pikkit, but that's how I personally track my bets in a verified way. I'm data driven. I want to know my results by specific sports, leagues, everything like that. Another cool thing about the Pikkit verified bet tracker is they give you a breakdown of the teams that have lost and made you the most money. So you can see the 76ers, I'm 2-23 this year. The 76ers absolutely killing me, down approximately $3,700. But again, I don't read into this. I'm just getting crushed with my bets on the 76ers. They're not cursed. I'm still gonna bet on them come next NBA season when I find my spots, and it'll bounce back. The Cavs, on the other hand, I'm running hot. I'm up approximately $4,000 in 2023 with money line and spread bets on the Cleveland Cavaliers. Again, just interesting to kind of take a peek at. Pikkit, they don't have a ton of player stats to look at, but it is interesting to see for the players they have listed. It looks like Jonquel Jones. It's my girl. She's made me over $26.50, and Kevin Durant, unsurprising, has lost me like $500 so far in 2023. But let me know what players have made you the most money betting on them and what players have lost you the most money. Next, we have the category Other, and I'm up 35K. And you may be wondering, what is Other? And essentially, Other is just all the sports that are not popular enough to get their own category, like Canadian Football League, like esports, CSGO, League of Legends. And honestly, I'm pretty surprised I'm up 35K, but I've been betting on them a lot. I have been betting on esports a lot. And it's not that I think esports is the best sport in the world to watch like the NFL, nothing like that. But there's 50 games a day in CSGO and League of Legends, and that means tons of surface area for the sportsbooks to cover and tons of opportunity for them to mess up and there to be good betting opportunities. So I've been finding a lot of esports plays on the OddsJam Fantasy Optimizer, and all this tool does is scan all the different sports books and point out value in the market. Now on tennis, I was on a bit of a negative variance losing streak. In the EPL, it's the opposite. I'm up like $8,000, a 60% ROI, which obviously isn't sustainable. Anyone who tells you that's sustainable in sports betting is either a billionaire or they're a liar. But regardless, I had some massive bet. I was feeling ballsy that day, $5,000 on Crystal Palace. That ended up winning, so definitely some positive variance in the EPL, and that's just how it goes sometimes. I'm still gonna bet on tennis. I'm not gonna place more EPL bets just because I'm up so far this year. This is just variance. Tennis, I'm running a little cold. EPL, I'm running a little hot. College football, I'm up a little over 2K. I don't have much to add. The season just started. I'm sure it'll be more interesting if we do another recap later in the year. MLS, only 8 bets, up a little over $1,000. Again, such a small sample size. I will bet on any sport where I can get an edge, but I don't have that much to add for the MLS specifically. The WNBA is interesting. I mean, an extremely small sample size. I've won 4 bets, but I've lost 11, yet I'm up $1,700. And you may be thinking, how is that possible? You're 4-11, yet you're up $1,700. And the reason is most of my WNBA bets are on Underdog Fantasy, which is a parlay-only sports book. So I'm betting on things with longer odds, bigger payouts, as long as the reward justifies the risk. So I find all my Underdog Fantasy bets on the OddsJam Optimizer, which again just scans the market, all the WNBA lines, as well as other sports like CSGO, League of Legends, and points out value. And the WNBA, again, may seem like a random sport, but I will bet on anything where I can get an edge. Sportsbooks a lot of times are asleep at the wheel with their WNBA lines, and there are tons of good betting opportunities on Prize Picks, Underdog Fantasy, and Parlay Play. Next category we have is mixed, and I'm up approximately $14,000. And mixed is just for these parlay-only sports books like Prize Picks, Underdog Fantasy. Often I'll find profitable bets in the MLB, UFC, and I'll include them in the same slip as you can see here. So these would fall under the mixed category. I have numerous sports in the same slip, and I do this all the time. Sometimes it's esports and basketball paired together. Sometimes it's WNBA and the NFL. Again, wherever I can find an edge and get profitable bets down on Prize Picks and Underdog Fantasy, I'll play those. So I play a lot of parlays with numerous sports and leagues. That falls under the category mixed. Obviously, it's worked out pretty well for me. Now, final leagues are Champions League and golf. I'm down small, tiny sample size. I'm not looking into it too much. Next, pretty interesting, we can do profit by bet type, and you're gonna see in 2023, I'm up more money. It's pretty surprising, at least to me, betting on parlays as opposed to straight bets. Now, the opposite was the case last year. In 2022, most of my profit was coming from straight bets. So again, a straight bet is very simple. You're betting on one outcome, the Chiefs to win the game, right? Whereas a parlay, you need multiple things to occur. And the reason this is the case is in 2023, I've spent most of my time in California. California doesn't really have sports books, so I'm not placing many straight bets. What's legal in California is platforms like Prize Picks, Parlay Play, Underdog Fantasy, Jock Market, and all of these platforms you can get an edge on, but they're parlay-only sports books, which is why I'm up more money betting on parlays this year, as opposed to last year, I was up more money betting on straight bets because most of my wagers were on DraftKings, FanDuel, Barstool, MGM, Caesars, sportsbooks just like that. Now, most of my profits in 2023 in terms of markets have come from player props. And once again, location is the reason for that. I'm spending most of my time in California, and these sports books like Prize Picks, Underdog Fantasy, they don't have mainline markets. I can't bet on the Chiefs to win the game. They only have player prop lines available, and you can only place parlays. So that's why it makes sense. Most of my profit is coming from player props and is coming from parlays, and that's largely due to location. Now let's do profit by sportsbook. Number 1, most popular sportsbook in the United States, FanDuel. I'm up approximately 8K. And you can see it goes flat for a bit. And again, that's because I moved to California, and FanDuel's not legal in California, so I'm not gonna be betting on FanDuel. But when I was still on the East Coast and had access to FanDuel, you can see it's a pretty profitable sportsbook for me with an ROI around 7-8%. DraftKings, on the other hand, second largest sportsbook in the US, I'm down approximately $1,000. but I'm not looking into it too much. First of all, I haven't been betting a lot on this sportsbook, very small sample size, around 200 bets. And again, some sportsbooks you're gonna run a little hot, some sportsbooks a little cold. DraftKings too, I have relatively low betting limits. They've taken down my betting limits. I started using them over 4 years ago. I'm up over $200,000 total on DraftKings. It's crazy. A lot of my initial profits came from DraftKings. So at this point, they don't allow me to bet that much. Just kind of how it is. Caesars is my most profitable book so far in 2023. I'm up like 48K. Again, I haven't bet on this sports book since moving to California. It's not legal in California. However, what's great about Caesars is they have high betting limits. I can basically bet whatever I want on any bet I want. So like $10,000 on the Super Bowl and the Chiefs. You can see that right here. That play won. So again, this ROI is not sustainable. I'm not going to be able to keep a 25% ROI on Caesars, but I've been running pretty hot and have the highest betting limits on Caesars, which is a big benefit. Now, Caesars also has a pretty good rewards program, but we'll leave that for another video. When I moved to California, I started using two new sports books, Jock Market and Flip. So Jock Market is another book I've been running extremely hot on. It's a parlay-only sports book similar to Prize Picks. I'm up like 17K this year. Getting pretty lucky. I mean, again, having an ROI this high, it is not sustainable. I don't expect it to stay that way, but regardless, really good start on Jock Market. On the other hand, when I moved to California, I signed up for Flip, which is one of the only sports books legal in California. There are a lot of good lines on Flip, but I started out on a massive losing streak. I'm slowly but surely coming back now, but you can see I'm down 8,000. Flip is actually the book I'm down the most money on this year. And again, you can't win on every sports book until your sample size is super, super big, thousands and thousands of bets. So just kind of how it is. Out of all the sports books we're gonna go through, I'm only down on two, DraftKings and Flip. And hey, that's just kind of how it is. I'm still gonna find profitable bets on Flip, DraftKings, and take advantage of them. No House Advantage, I'm up like 10K, but that was short-lived. I signed up for No House Advantage when I moved to California, hit a few really big parlays, got lucky in a row, and then they went bankrupt, so that's why it's a flat line once again. Took the book for $10,000, they went bankrupt. Not a bad thing to do. Next book we got is Sleeper. I'm 9-9, only up like 150 bucks. But the truth is, I don't find much value. I don't find many profitable bets on Sleeper, but still, in my opinion, it's a good book to have because they have amazing promos. So long story short, Sleeper is a great book to have in your arsenal just for the promos. Prize Picks, Underdog Fantasy, Parlay Play, three of the main parlay-only sports books that I use in California. You can see on Parlay Play, I'm up like 1.5K. On Parlay Play, I'm usually placing 5 and 6 leg parlays. That's just what's mathematically optimal on this platform. So pretty brutal variance, a lot of ups and downs as you can see, but still turning a net profit. What kind of stinks about Parlay Play is they have relatively low betting limits. Usually they only allow me to bet $60 on whatever I want to go with. Now on Underdog Fantasy, this is my most profitable fantasy platform. I'm up over $40,000, tons and tons of opportunity. Great lines on Underdog Fantasy, and I used to be able to bet up to $2,000 on a slip, but unfortunately they limited me recently. Now I can only get like $100 down on whatever I want to bet, which kind of stinks, but hey, I'm still gonna make some good profits off them. Now, Prize Picks, probably everyone's most, one of the most popular sports books out there. I'm up about 5K, decent, don't have much to add. I would say in terms of the ROI, a little lower than I would have hoped compared to Underdog Fantasy. But again, that's just how it is sometimes, right? On Underdog Fantasy this year, I'm running a bit hot. On Prize Picks, I mean, I'm still up 5K, but running a bit colder in terms of the ROI. That's just kind of how it is. WinBet up about 5K, ROI is about 2.5%. When the line goes flat, that's when I moved to California. On the other hand, I signed up for another sportsbook called Hot Streak. When I moved to California, you can see up like $500 there. They have pretty low betting limits, so I just haven't bet a lot on it. On PointsBet, I'm getting absolutely killed. Okay, I'm 0-1, I'm down 52.50. That's no fun. And then on BetMGM, all I did was their sign-up bonus when I was on vacation. I'm up 8K on BetMGM, so pretty happy there. But that's every sports book, my profit and loss by book, and we'll get into month by month now. Going month by month, January was actually my best month, up over $45,000. And one of the main reasons for that is I was betting on sports a lot. I was putting a lot of time into it. But second of all, there's just a ton of sports going on, right? You have the NBA, you have the NFL, you have a lot of opportunity. Whereas if you think about, let's say July, there's not much to bet on aside from the MLB, and that's just kind of how it is. So January is a great month to be a sports bettor. Ended up over 45K. Great start to the year. February was great as well, up approximately 40K. Definitely helped that I won a $10,000 bet on the Kansas City Chiefs for the Super Bowl. Had a great Super Bowl, but regardless, overall a really good month. March is great as well. You got college basketball and full swing March Madness. You also have the NBA going on. So I had some big wins on Underdog Fantasy, some big parlays, stuff like that. Ended up approximately 23K. Pretty happy with March as well. I mean, we haven't even had a down month so far in the first 3 months. So already up over $100,000 just from the first 3 months of the year. April was pretty good as well, up approximately 10. Then I took a hit in May, down about 5. And then June was pretty mediocre as well, just up 3. July was another pretty good month, up 20K. August, I took a hit, down a K. Again, I am betting on sports, looking at lines all the time. So obviously it stinks to have a losing month, but that's just how it goes sometimes. Nobody's gonna win every single bet. Even if you're a sharp bettor, you're still gonna go through brutal losing streaks and have some down weeks and down months, especially if you're playing on these parlay-only sports books like I am. To start off football season, September, I'm up about 2K. Obviously, I'm recording this video in September, so that number's gonna change as my bets progress and hopefully my NFL bets start to hit. Hopefully that number goes up. But regardless, thank you for watching this video, taking you through kind of an in-depth look at every bet I placed this year, you know, the strategies I've been most successful with. And again, thanks so much for your time. Comment down below. I'm curious to hear it. What was your biggest win so far in 2023?